want to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Shadows sleeping in the dead of night. I light the match, they feel my fight. Street I flicker like a war zone flare. They see me rise, but they won't dare. Some man cracks under my stride. Whispers chase me, they collide. Gun dreams heavy like gold chains. Every star on my stream's my name. Be legendary, feel the fire in your chest. No second guessing, this is your test. Be legendary, break the cage.
Absolutely. We are all about being legendary here on the Hoosier Legends podcast. Welcome to another episode. It is February 18th. It is, for now, getting warm outside, which is awesome. Gives us an opportunity to see the snow melt, get out and do some great things. It just makes you feel a little bit better, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Classic Indiana fall spring, right? It's one
coming.
it's one of 7 that we'll have. So enjoy where we have it.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about that at lunch today, because being a boys basketball coach in the state of Indiana for a number of years, we always joke around about that snow, right, that always hits on sectionals week. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that that's not the case this year. And again, as being a boys golf coach too, I want to see this thing kind of stay, but I already saw that, it's going to dip back down here. But we're hopeful that we'll get no more of that, big white powdery stuff that we saw out there for a while, and we can get about our way and enjoying our spring. So, hey, before we get the show going here, Mike, how are you doing tonight? What's cooking? Anything good?
No, we just talked about the weather, so the weather's great, and I thought you'd appreciate it, seeing all those guys out there playing golf today. Everyone's first chance out there swinging away. I didn't go out, but my middle son, he went out there and he said they absolutely were awful, which is awesome. It's the first day out there playing. Sure. But he did say they played at Pittsburgh, and he said he got a natural par on the hole 9.
All right.
I think him and his couple buddies were, playing best ball, but he said, all me, Dad. It was super dark out, but I got it. He's like, I don't know how, but I did it. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to all the golfers out there. Get a couple holes in, as you said, a couple rounds before it starts to get cold again. Yeah.
I told my boys, I said, take advantage of it. Get out there, start swinging, get on the range. I went to back 9 over the President's Day weekend, and that was the first time I had swung since last season, and it was a little rusty. It was a little rough, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, all right.
Coach,
well, what's
up? When you're talking about having a good what is it called? Pitching wedge form?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not really sure. You probably know how to coach it better than I do. But to me, it seems like all the good kickers in the world can have that nice pitch, right? Get it really up high and then come down where they want it to. You know anybody who's any good at kicking?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I think we got somebody as a special guest that might be able to help us a little bit with understanding the ins and outs and the skill set that it takes to be able to put a football right where you want it, right? And so, yeah, absolutely. We are super excited tonight to be joined by our first special guest of the Hoosier Legends Weekly podcast. This week, we are joined by Jaykob Gumerson of Indian Creek, who is a kicker for the Indian Creek Braves. He has done a lot of great things so far in his career. He's getting ready to enter into his senior year down there. And I tell you what, it's been a real joy to follow his journey on X. He's real active on social media. He's into broadcasting a little bit himself with a podcast that he has. And so he does a great job of posting the things that he's been doing. I saw his post today that he tagged us in, that he was able to get out there with the boomstick and get things working out there and everything. So, yeah, absolutely. Jaykob, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It was so good to be out in the nice weather again. I've been waiting the snow. I'm so glad it's gone, but I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you guys very much.
Absolutely.
What an introduction. Wow, it was awesome. That was nice, Mike. You did a great job.
Top notch. That's how we try to do it
yeah.
around here. All about being legendary. So, let's just kind of start off by talking a little bit about, obviously you're a member of the Indian Creek Braves football program. You guys had a really great year. It was awesome to be able to see you guys in the HLC this year. We were talking off air a little bit about, we have some mutual acquaintances down in the Indian Creek area. So, back when I was at Cascade High School, I had gone down to Indian Creek a couple of times to do some scouting. It's a beautiful complex down there, beautiful school. But let's talk a little bit about you and what led your, kind of career into focus on kicking, right? When did you kind of know? Because that's a niche talent, right? My son, who's a sophomore, kicks on the JV team. He's a goalie on the soccer team, and he's had to kind of work to develop that. When did you start to kind of focus in on that? And, when did you kind of see that you had that talent?
Yeah, I played soccer my whole life. It was just kind of toward middle school, I kind of just like lost the love for soccer, and I didn't play any other sports, but I started watching the NFL around middle school. I had my 6th grade math teacher was like, "You should be a kicker." He's like, "You're gonna hate it at first, but give it a shot." And I did. My 7th grade year, I didn't play, but I kept my head up. I kept working hard. 8th grade year, they opened up the position for me. And that's 8th grade's kind of, I figured out, like, if I work hard at this, right, I could do some pretty cool things. And so high school was when I really started taking it really serious. I've had the shout out to my parents and family who's done so much for me to like take me to other fields or take me to universities to go kick. It's been so much fun with this. It's something I never thought I'd do because football was the one sport I never played when I was a kid. Not once. I was scared to play football. I was scared of getting hit. I didn't want to get hurt. So I don't get hit much as a kicker. I'm not saying it's never happened before because it definitely has, but it doesn't happen much. But
Right.
I don't know. It's just I had to work really hard because I was never the most gifted athlete. I had to work really hard and had a few injuries every now and then. But I just want to really give a shout out to my grandpa John, who's really kept my head up. He's been, honestly, he's done the most for me out of anybody, probably when it comes to football. He's always kept my head up. I'm not perfect. I'm gonna miss kicks. I mean, the Tri West game, you guys read, I missed my first field goal, so it was rough. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say toward freshman years when I kind of figured out I had this talent and I'm not gonna let it go to waste, and I'm just gonna keep working hard at it.
That's awesome.
So it looks like to me that you went 46 for 48 on your extra points. Is that true?
It is true. I had 2 blocked. So
Okay.
I guess I could say it went perfect, but I mean 2 got blocked. Lapel had one blocked against them. What was the other one? Oh, Western. My first varsity PAT got blocked. My first PAT got blocked at Western. So
hey, when those blocks happen, looking back at the film and stuff, can you find out if that was because we look at, we watch the NFL and we watch college football, and they're always talking about the trajectory of the kick, right? Is it too low? Is that why it got blocked? When you look back at those 2 kicks in particular, have you noticed anything? Was it a too low kick? Did the line just not block, or what happened on those?
So for Western, it was on grass. Western, they have a really very bumpy grass. I hit the ball terrible. I tried to kill the ball, to be honest. I tried to hit it as hard as I could. And when you do that as a kicker, you're gonna mess up. Kind of like a golfer, as you guys said about golf. When you try to really kill the ball, it doesn't go as far as you want it to. So that one was completely my bad. I was very angry on the sidelines. Coach Gooden kept my head up, and the next kickoff, I actually hit my first touchback in a game. So I made up for it. And then the one against Lapel, I forget the jersey number, but the kid made an unbelievable play. He did some sort of spin move to get past a left guy, and he just made an amazing play. I hit the ball good. He just made an unbelievable play. So there's nothing I could have or the line could have done. He just made a very athletic play, and props to him.
Yeah. So sometimes as a kicker, just like as a quarterback, or you have no control sometimes, right?
Sure.
Some people just make awesome plays, and you just have to tip your hat to them. You spoke about Western being on grass, and I know Indian Creek and Tri-West, and I think the vast majority, if not all, of the Sagamore is on turf. Do you have a preference one way or the other?
Oh, I love turf. I think my favorite turf ever is Greenwood's Field. They just joined conference. They're joining the conference next year, but their gray turf has been my favorite to kick on by far. Sophomore year was my first time ever kicking on it. My sophomore year, I was normally the kickoff guy. We had a junior who did PATs and field goals, and just warming up, I'm like, man, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
turf is way better. It depends on the grass, because like my sophomore year, I had a season-ending injury, week 5 against Greencastle, but toward the playoffs, I started dressing and kind of doing, light PATs and all that. North Harrison's grass was really nice. So I guess it kind of depends on the grass, but like, if you tell me if you guys are gonna go take me kicking, if I'm gonna pick grass or turf, I'm going to pick turf every single time. It's just, I don't know. I just love how it feels.
Hey, Coach Spears, have you did you ever go to LCC and see their grass at all?
No, I have not.
Catholic?
Yeah,
No, they have Bermuda grass, and I think Malachi. So Malachi just is a freshman at Indiana Wesleyan right now. So 5 years ago, maybe when he was a freshman, we had a JV game up there, and I'm telling you, I would play on that grass more than any other. Like, it is the best field, I've ever been on.
Yeah.
So sometimes, as you were saying, it all depends on the grass, right? And LCC it's just a beautiful all Bermuda grass field. Awesome. They take really good care of it.
Wow, that's sweet. Well, Jaykob, you kind of talked about this a little bit already, but I want to get your perspective on this. You mentioned with that first block PAT varsity, kind of how you were supported in playing for Coach Gooden. Tell us a little bit about the Indian Creek program, right? Like playing for Coach Gooden, and you guys obviously had some success this year. How are you supported, and how have you grown in your time there in that program?
Yeah, absolutely. First year was there. Obviously, we had like a 5 and 6 season. First year we were there, didn't go our way. But Gooden, he said, like, all off season we had this thing called Operation 31. Our whole goal, the entire off season, was to win the sectional. Spoiler alert: we did win a sectional. I have to switch it on right now.
Yeah,
thank you. Gooden does an unbelievable job, like making sure like we're in part, and like we'll never like betraying each other or bashing heads or anything, because at times practice can get intense. I mean, there'll be times, even me, I'm just a kicker, sometimes I'll even get mad at Gooden. Like I'll get so frustrated if I'm missing a kick in practice, I'll lash it out on him. But he doesn't take it personal. He understands the game of football. He understands, like, he's been there before. He played college. But he is just a coach who's been there for every player. I mean, say quarterback throws a pick, sure, he'll be frustrated on the sideline, but Gooden goes down to our quarterback, gets his mind straight. Receiver drops the ball, he's mad on the sideline, and he calms the receiver down. He's just Gooden just loves his team so much. And I've never had a coach like that ever.
Wow.
He looks out for his players almost like they're their own children, like we're his kids. Like, no kidding. It's amazing to play for Coach Gooden. I've had a bunch of fun playing for him the past 2 years since I've been at Indian Creek, and I wouldn't want to play for any other coach in high school. And I mean that. I mean, that's my guy. That's my coach.
Yeah.
He's done great. He's built the program back up.
Yeah.
We made a bunch of changes in the offseason with the practice schedule. We really focused on the weight room. I'll say this. We had a strength coach come from Whiteland. His name's Coach Rudolph, Zach Rudolph. He did a bunch of stuff in the weight room for like injury prevention and all that. And across all sports, our injuries got cut in half, right? So He's done an unbelievable job building the weight room. And again, I say this all the time. People call me the skinny kid on the football team, which is, they're not wrong, but like, I used to hate the weight room. I did not like it. But Rudolph makes it such a great atmosphere. He blares the music in the weight room. He makes it fun. So like, I love lifting weights now because of Rudolph. So it's just everything that Gooden could have done this year, like that he wanted to, he did. I mean, he did an amazing job. Like, our goal wasn't going to try to win state. That would have been awesome, obviously, but we wanted Operation 31, and that's what we got. And Good made sure we got it. So
yeah.
Even we had that tough 3-loss stretch. We lost to LaPel, lost to you guys at Tri-West, and we lost to Triton Central back to back after starting the season 4-0. It was a tough stretch. But Gooden didn't let that affect their team. You know, they were all 3 away games too. So it was those rough bus rides home. You know, Goodnett let us have our heads down, right? He kept us like in the good spirits, and he just does an amazing job.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
I give him so much credit.
Jaykob, I got a couple questions on that. That Triton Central kicker, I don't have his name in front of me. He hit the game winner against us, and I know he's hit a game winner against another team. I'm not sure if that was you or somebody else.
Yeah, it was us. Yep, it was us.
Have you talked to him? Do you know him at all? And if not, what kind of mindset do you have to take when going up for that game-winning field goal? Like, do you think about it as a game winner? Do you think it's just another kick? What's the process, the mind process of a kicker going into that kind of situation?
Yeah, personally, I've never been in that situation before. It's a dream of mine to be, kicking a game winner. I was never put in a situation this year. But every kick's the same kick. I mean, every kick, you have to kick the same. Like, I would kick a 50-yarder how I should a PAT. You should give in full effort at every kick. Like the 45-yarder I had against Covenant Christian, I stayed calm. Like, I knew what was at stake. I mean, this was school record, full packed crowd, and like I talked a big game because that was my first ever field goal attempt in my life. Like I said, whatever kick it is, I'm gonna make it. So I had to, stay calm. Always take a deep breath for every kick. That's like the number one thing to like really keep yourself calm. You want to have like loose muscles almost. Every kick's the same kick. Doesn't matter what the stakes are. You can be down by 1 with 1 second left to win the entire game. You can be down by 50. Like, it just doesn't matter. Every kick is the same. I say this personally, like, honestly, the same mind. You should have the same mindset heading into every kick, punt, kickoff. It doesn't matter the situation. Every kick is the same. Some might be cooler than the others, sure. Like, hitting a 33-yarder is not as cool as hitting a 45-yarder, sure. But every kick should be the same. Overthinking is just the last thing you should do as a specialist. My dad tells me this all the time, is that kicking is more mental than it is physical. It really is. Like, you have the mindset like, I got to make this. And if I don't, you can't let it affect the next kick. I'll go back to the example of Western. First varsity PAT in my life gets blocked. I mean, I've been waiting to have that first varsity kick, right? And it's my first one. We had a guy block a punt, turned it to a touchdown the first quarter. One of our seniors did that. And, I was all hyped up. It's like, we just scored a defensive touchdown in the first, 3 minutes of the game. Bam, blocked. And I'll go back to Gooden just saying, keep your head up. It's okay. Get the next one. Go kick it in the end zone. And that's what I did. I had to stay calm, and kicking's mental. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Kicking's seriously, it's such a mental game. Like at camps even, because I go to a bunch of specialist camps, college camps. I mean, it could be, 55-yarder to win the camp, in front of all these college scouts. I mean, it's just a field goal. That's all it is. It's the same thing you've been doing your entire life since 7th grade. Just kick the ball. It's that simple. You just got to make sure, say it doesn't go your way, you don't let it affect you on the next kick, because that's when it gets messed up.
I love that mentality. That's like that shooter in basketball, right? That's just, when they're a jump shooter and they're not hitting their first couple, you just got to see it to go in, and then that gets you going. So
Absolutely.
that's a really good perspective. Well, we mentioned, here at the start of the interview that, you are coming into your senior season. So tell us a little bit about what your focus has been this off season to prepare for that senior year. And then maybe kind of a little bit about expectations for you individually and maybe what you see for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, our off season, Coach Gooden, last year was Operation 31. This year it's deficit 13. We were 13 points away from having a perfect regular season for the first time in the school's history. 13 points away.
Wow.
All lost 1-point games. I don't know the exact record, but I think we're 2-7 in our last 9 games when it comes down to one possession football games. So something this year that we're really focusing on is winning those close battles, those one possession games. It's something, honestly, I'll say this as a player, our team struggled at it the past couple of seasons. We really have, and it's cost us games. We lost 3 in a row to one-score games last season, and it was rough. And I hate losing. I mean, I can have the best game of my life, right? But even if we lose, it's like Like, what was it? It didn't matter. Like, we lost. I hate losing. And
Right.
this team is sick of losing. And we have a leadership council on our team with a bunch of juniors and seniors, and we all agreed that, like, we're tired of losing these one possession football games, and let's make it a focus to win these games next year. And another thing is, our game against Gibson Southern, we were 13-point underdogs, which we did lose by, well, more than 13, but it still made us upset that we had this amazing season. We're projected to lose by more 2 possessions. I mean, our deficit 13 is our motto all off season long. I mean, Gooden's probably going to play film from the games we lost to in the weight room on our TV we have, just to get us going, because it's just, man, that lapel game, I hate thinking about it. But, like, that game, it angers us. It fuels us.
Sure. Yeah. No,
You know,
that's good.
Well,
That's what off-season, like, focus is just we got to close games better. Deficit 13. That's going to be the memo all off-season long and during season. Absolutely, that's just how it's going to be.
Sure.
So I'm just glad that there's a fellow HLC team that hates Gibson Southern.
Yes. I got a good buddy that goes to that school. I made friends with. Obviously, there was a very bad injury for the quarterback.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of them because they end of season, but Gibson Southern, the coaches, like both of us, we kind of like met in the middle. We all prayed together when that quarterback had that injury. I made a friend, which I still talk to almost every day. He's one of the offensive linemen there. He's a great guy. I'll give a shout to RJ. That's his name.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't like Gibson Southern either.
We'll allow that for sure.
Absolutely. I'm pretty petty when it comes to teams, our opponents. We have a school in our county that's our big rival that I don't like to mention their name at all. So rivalry is what makes high school fun. And Gibson Southern, they beat us in regionals one year, and they beat us in semi-state one year. My oldest one was in school, so his freshman year and junior year.
Wow.
Man, they're a good team. They're extremely well coached.
Very well coached.
It's a really good 3A program out there. So
the players are great. Very respectful as well.
When we're looking at closing up on this conversation, Jaykob, and we really appreciate your time here. How is it right now for you, whether it's during the football season or during the off season right now, how do you juggle being a student athlete? Is there a lot of time constrictions on you? Still focusing on those grades, knowing that you have to have, I'm guessing that you want to go to college and maybe play, football, be a kicker. A lot of times they're saying that you have to have like a 3.5 or higher. How are you doing on that? What's kind of your way of making sure that you're a student first and then the athlete?
Student comes first. The teachers do a great job at Indian Creek. I struggled, honestly, with grades my freshman year at my old school. But Indian Creek, they've done a great job. Coach Gooden does an amazing job keeping our guys in the line when it comes to grades. Like, well, if a guy has a few Fs and he'll chew him out, and, like, you got to get together, right? Grades are very important on this team. It's something Gooden focuses on. Like, you don't have these grades, you can't play. I don't care if you're the best player, the worst player on this team. Academics will always come first, at least for me as well. I had 2 parents who were very smart, very good high school students. And it's something as someone who wants to play college football, who's been dreaming about it for the past 3 years, you have to have the high GPAs to, be eligible to play and all that. On Wednesdays, we have a study table before practice during the season, which I think is very beneficial for our football players. He gets like an hour or so just to relax after school, get some extra work done, get some extra work on missing assignments. Like, there's a few times, like, even I'll see some seniors helping out the freshmen on assignments and helping out the team. So athletics are never going to be first at any sport at Indian Creek. If you interview any other Indian Creek athletes, they're always going to say that at our school, grades will come first, because that's just our motto at Indian Creek. So sure, we get homework quite often, and it's hard to balance it out. I kick all the time. I kicked today. as you guys mentioned, and I still have to do some homework tonight, but I have
Mm-hmm.
to do this first, right? So no,
Love it.
it's very important to keep your grades first.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jaykob, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Like we were talking about off air, Mike and I, when we started this HLC podcast, we wanted to not only just highlight the new conference and the teams, but then, really try to place an emphasis on shouting out, you guys, the athletes as much as possible. Give you guys the respect that you deserve because you put so much time in inside the classroom to stay eligible grade wise and excel. And then obviously the time you put in working on your craft and like you mentioned, going to kicking camps and off season weights, all that stuff, it all kind of culminates in what you're able to do during the season. So it was really, really enjoyable watching you guys this season. And then obviously getting to know you on social media and then ultimately, chatting with you tonight. Really, really appreciate you taking the time to come in and be with us tonight.
I really appreciate you guys having me. This was a lot of fun. Honored to be here. As again, we all appreciate what you're doing for the HLC, what you guys are doing. I don't think small school football gets talked about enough, and you guys do an amazing job promoting it and getting it out to other people because there's just nothing like small school football or small school basketball, whatever you want to call it. There's just nothing like it, and you guys do a great job promoting it and putting it out there. So thank you guys for doing what you do, and thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun, and keep doing what you guys are doing. I love watching.
Yeah, we'll be in touch and we'll be obviously cheering for you and watching you grow and hopefully have a great, successful senior year. So
thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks, Jaykob. Have a good evening, bud.
Bye.
All right. That was Jaykob Gumerson of Indian Creek. What a phenomenal young man, Mike. I mean, he's got his head on straight and he's working hard. You could tell he's got a great program down there. Just a really all around good kid, it seems like. So glad we were able to have him on tonight.
You did a good job convincing me. I'm going to send my kids to Indian Creek.
There you go.
I mean, I don't think you can go wrong there. That's a great school ambassador right there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously spoke very high of his coach and the program that they've, established down there. And sounds like a kid that, has come in and been, lifted up and encouraged to work on his craft. And you can see it paying off, 46 of 48 on PATs and hitting a 45-yard field goal is a nice little cherry on top, for his season. So that's pretty cool there. Definitely glad that we had an opportunity to talk about him and celebrate that. Not to be a Debbie Downer, Mike, but I did want to pass along some news. And I'm sure those of you that live out in the Triton Central community are probably well ahead of us on this, but we have a family out in the Tri-West community, the Moore family. John, he's got 2 kids at the high school at Tri-West, Grayson and Seth. And I've coached Seth in, youth sports from, a young age. And, again, you talk about another great young man. Seth is a phenomenal young man. And John's a great talk. I could sit down and talk with him forever. He's helped coach me in with Little League Baseball and everything. So at any rate, along the way of getting to know the Moore family, I learned that he was from the Triton Central area. And so he's really enjoyed and appreciated us being able to talk about the HLC and obviously particularly the Triton Central stuff. And so he passed along some news to us that we wanted to share here just to honor and pay tribute to our friends down in the Triton Central community. They lost a beloved member of their community, Mr. Bud Mendenhall, here recently, 92 years old, a 54-year teaching career at Triton Central. Beloved, not only educator, but coach. From what I looked at and doing research and from what I heard, he coached the initial football team at Triton Central, as mentioned, and coached, I think, every sport except for cross country, I believe is what John had mentioned and what I saw in his obituary. The football field, the stadium out there is named Bud Mendenhall Field in honor of his contributions to their program. just obviously, John played for him as a golfer out there as well. Someone that, as I was reading his background and hearing what John had to say, a lot of great stories, very influential, probably touched the lives of, thousands of people that went through the Triton Central School District. And so we know when we lose somebody that's a rock of our community, how difficult that can be, but then you reflect on the great things that they've, contributed and brought. And then you kind of have a laugh and you think, yeah, it was your life is probably better having known a guy like Bud Mendenhall, from what I could tell. So we wanted to definitely make sure that we shouted that out here on the show tonight. So, Mike, have you had a scenario, situation where somebody in your childhood, where you grew up, or an influential person in your life has passed away, and how was that handled, and what were your reflections on that?
Man, I think I've been pretty lucky. I think in a small country school like Tri-West was when I went there, we were 1A.
Mm-hmm.
They hired in middle school, my coaches, were 20 and 21 years old, I felt like. So they're still kicking. I actually taught a couple of their kids, which is always fun when that stuff kind of happens. In high school, Mark Haste was my football coach. He coached at North Central for a little bit, and now he's a teacher there. But, names like that, with Bud, it always reminds me of some of the teachers I had. And now I'm drawing a blank on the one I really wanted to talk about. But, we had Compton. He was my middle school teacher, and he still has a record for coaching in basketball. And so I know a lot of people in our community knows Bill Compton. And then, you think about Sheridan, you have a guy like Bud Wright, who coached my dad, and my dad was born in 1948. So, that tells you how long ago that was. It was my dad's senior year was Bud's first ever high school coaching job. And he's still coaching Southwood now, right? That's crazy. But, so I haven't really had that kind of an experience. I just know that, like we said, it seems like every small town has a guy that it was just so influential of everything in that neighborhood. Man, there's one guy that I really wanted to talk about, and for some reason, his name now just escapes me. How about you, Coach?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. There were some guys that I know were really influential. I was always big in the baseball community. I grew up in Pike Township, and so we had our little league, Randsburg Little League, over by Guyan Creek Elementary, and there was a longtime umpire by the name of Jim Seach. Jim was a beloved member of the community. He volunteered, helping coach, and had kids that played through the community. He umpired. He was one of those guys that I'll never forget this. Like, between innings, how sometimes, like, if the catcher's on the base paths or makes the last out, they got to go get all their gear on. He would just drop and get down and warm you up, as a pitcher. And you're going like, you don't have a mitt. And he goes, I don't care, fire it in here,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and those guys like that, just someone who loved helping kids develop and be better people, right? Obviously trying to coach them up at a sport, but then just teaching them what it means to be, a nice human being. So I remember that. And yeah, it's always hard when you lose someone like that, especially 92 years old, 54 years in the district, coaching almost every sport except for cross country. I mean, you just know how many players, he helped make as better people. So it's awesome when you can reflect back. I know it's hard at the time when you have a loss, because you just go through that grief process, right? But then when you reflect back on it and you go, man, how lucky were we to know somebody like that, that influenced us, and especially in this world today where you see, just crazy stories left and right about stuff. So just passing along our thoughts and prayers to the people of the Triton Central community, and just know how awesome and influential it sounds like Bud was. So awesome. Like I said, didn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but did want to make sure that I threw that in there. So why don't we start to turn our attention to, as we wrap the show up here, a little bit of hoop action. Now, before we actually do that, Mike, I almost forgot. I wrote this down just so that I wouldn't forget. Do want to give a special shout out to someone else at Tri-West. This young man is going to be the lone representative in the HLC at the Wrestling State down at Gainbridge Fieldhouse Friday and Saturday, making a return second year to the state championship, and that is Mr. Eli Ogle. Eli is a great young man. He's a good friend of my son's, and every time I see Eli in the hallway, he says, "Hey, Mr. Spears, what's up?" Always cheerful, happy. He has worked his tail off to represent the school at the 126-pound weight class, which is a tough division, tough weight class. But kudos to him for battling through the Avon Sectional, the Mooresville Regional, the Evansville Semi-State. I mean, when you talk wrestling in the state of Indiana, I know the guys up in the region in Crown Point and over Fort Wayne at Garrett, they like to talk about the northern part. But, man, that is a stretch to have to go through to make it to state. So congratulations to Eli. Best of luck to him. He will be wrestling in the second round of wrestling meet matches at Gainbridge Friday evening. So I think they do 285. They start with the heavyweights at noon, and then they go to the lighter weight classes at 3. So he will wrestle Friday night and see how things go. And hopefully he'll be moving and advancing on into Saturday pretty deep, making a run there his senior year. So want to make sure we threw that in there.
Hey, Justin, did you say that he's the only one from the conference?
I believe so. Oh, no. That's not right.
I think it was the only one from Tri-West.
Only one from Tri-West. I forgot. There were 2 guys from Indian Creek, Oliver Hallett and Patrick Dowdy, who I think Hallett won and Dowdy came in 3rd. So, yeah, I don't know why that escaped my mind, because I was tweeting that stuff out and I just totally spaced my mind. Sorry, that's my Tri-West bias. That's the first and only time that it will.
And you're hating on Indian Creek.
I know, man. Golly, I'm so sorry, man. We just undid all that good that we did. We're going to have Jaykob back on again now. Man, my apologies to Mr. Dowdy and Mr. Hallett. You guys are going to rock it out as well. I know you will.
Hey, so let me know if I'm mistaken here, but if my memory is right, Ogle got 4th place in sectionals, 4th place in regionals, and then 3rd place in semi-state. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
that's right.
Do you that is amazing, because that means he had to go against the number ones from another sectional, right? Being the 4th seed against the 1 seed. So he had to fight for every single match to get to state. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have he wasn't the best wrestler where he got the favorable pull or draw all the way down. Is that correct? You know what I mean? So he had to fight for everything that he got. So kudos to him, and kudos to the Indian Creek wrestlers. Those are pretty awesome. It's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, and I know I recognized Oliver's name. I saw him down at Evansville a couple years ago, so he's been around the block. I think, winning that. I think he's at 175. I can't remember off the top of my head. Patrick might be at 38 or 44 maybe. I probably should have looked it up. I apologize. I'm going to put a big tweet out shouting those guys out. I know I did when they won, when they placed at semi-state, but I'm going to go back and make sure we shout those guys out as well, because they got a really good program down there at Indian Creek wrestling wise. As a team, I think they sent 4 guys down to down to Evansville, which is pretty amazing in and of itself. Tri-West sent 2, Monrovia sent 1, Speedway sent 1. I think I had tweeted out all 8 HLC reps won their first match. I think I was off on that. I think 7 of the 8 did. When I was going through and looking at the brackets, I think I missed one. Aiden Butler from Indian Creek, I think, lost his first round matchup. But 7 of the 8, winning their first match, and then the guys that advanced on from there are going to be wrestling this weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. My son's going to go down, I know, Friday. I wish I could, but that's one thing that kind of is a bummer, Mike. And I know this happens, I think, with the girls as well. Swimming, I think, does this as well, where they have it like while school's still in session. That's hard. It makes it hard for your fellow classmates to be able to go down and cheer on. Now, thankfully, my son, who was on the Tri-West wrestling team, the back end of his schedule is pretty light, so he's not going to be missing any core academic classes. But to start the wrestling at 3:00 on a Friday, I get it. It's time constraints and you got to get everything in, but that's kind of a bummer that, I'm sure there's kids coming from all over the state that their classmates aren't going to be able to really see them in person unless they advance on into Saturday deep and be able to make a run there. But that's the only thing that kind of stinks about it. But
there's a lot of things that the state IHSAA could do to make things a lot better. But before I rip on them, I'm 100% going to rip on the NFL and having Super Bowl Sundays. I don't know why you can't just have a Saturday game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, everybody is staying up late to watch your game. Please let us have the day off on Sunday to recuperate from it. And I think the NCAA does it on Mondays, right? It's just like,
right.
Just do Saturdays, guys. Like, let's all come together and say, your TV ratings are not going to slip from the 126 million people who watch your show. It's fine.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah, but that's how it is. People, and I, like you said, the IHSA has their reasons of why they start at 3:00 or whatever's going on. I don't know why you couldn't have it in 2 different locations at the same time. I don't know if that takes away from the ability to be at state and have everybody watch you in the first round at 3:00. Why can't you have 2 matches going on, one in one place, one in the other place? I have no idea. I'm not trying to take away from anybody, because going to state is absolutely amazing, and you should get all the attention and all the eyeballs on you. So I get it, but as you said, a 3:00 game, or a 3:00 match, you're not gonna get all the eyeballs anyways that you could have had if you would have started at 5:00.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
who knows? They all have their reasons on stuff. So.
All right. Yeah, like we always say, it's above our pay grade, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a little hoopage here as we start to wrap up the program. The boys sectional for swimming is kicking off tomorrow, so they'll be on the back end here once sectionals start tomorrow. Talking to my son who swims, he's not, this is his first year of doing it. He's kind of doing it to try to help stay in shape and get in better shape for football. But man, he was telling me how difficult it is to advance and I guess that's a sport that goes directly from sectionals to state. Does that sound right to you?
It does not. I don't think that's true.
I don't think there's a regional or semi-state for swimming. I was under the impression from what he and his teammates were saying that they go directly. Now they run so it's 2 days, right? So I think maybe they narrow it down and pare it down enough. I don't know. I haven't looked at it closely enough to see, but good luck to all the HLC teams that are going to be participating in boys swimming sectionals starting tomorrow. So I know that's kicking off, and we're coming down the home stretch here, the last 3 or 4 games for some HLC basketball. So, Mike, do you have the standings up, or you want me to go through them?
Yeah, I don't. You got me fascinated on the swimming thing, and it does look like it says sectionals, diving, regionals, and state finals.
Okay, so maybe they do go to regionals and then.
Well, I think it's just diving. I think maybe just diving has regionals.
Oh, okay. So maybe that would make sense. I'm still pretty illiterate on the way in which I mean, I've kind of got like a standard dual meet down, right? Like I understand pretty much the way that like times are and heats and that kind of thing, but postseason run not 100% up to date on. But yeah, that's what they were talking about. I took one of his buddies to back nine with us the other day, and they were kind of chatting up on the way home about, you know, seed times and times to qualify and get out. Of course, we'll go to Brownsburg for sectionals, which is going to draw, you know, a lot of really good talent in the area. So not that anybody's going to have it easy, you know, but it sounds like it's going to be a pretty tough task to be able to get some of our guys out, which they've had a pretty good season as a boys collective team in dual meets. I think they were undefeated in head-to-head and three-way. And then even at the invites that they went to, they had really good showings, and it's still going to be difficult for them to advance out of that sectional and into the state there. So, but yeah, good luck to all those guys.
All right, I got one more on this. As you pull up the basketball stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
Advancement for swimming.
Okay.
First place sectional winners in each event qualify for the state finals. Plus, any contestant who equals or betters the state time standard in their respective event in the consolation finals of the sectional qualifies for the state finals.
Okay.
The state standard may not be achieved by a swimmer who is competing as the first leg of a relay. The next fastest number of contestants in the state that would bring the total number of the state meet entrants to 32 in each event. Then in the event that there's a tie exists for the 32nd position, the tie shall stand and both swimmers shall advance to the state championships.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, then into diving, first through fourth place sectional winners will qualify for the regional, and then for regional, first through eighth place will qualify for the state. So
okay,
there you go. That's how we do it in the state of Indiana.
All right. Well, and of course we know we won't get off into this now because it'll open up a whole nother can. But you know, Carmel and their domination, the girls won their 40th consecutive state title, and I'm sure the boys will probably be the favorite. I don't know that 100% to be true, but I'm probably, you know, you probably put the mortgage on it from what I've heard and know. But yeah, we were talking about that with Modern Day winning 50 straight sectionals in wrestling, and then now you've got, you know, them with 40 straight state titles in swimming, and either way, it's pure dominance, however you want to look at it. So, but yeah, good luck to the 4 HLC schools. That would be Tri-West Speedway, Beech Grove, and Indian Creek. Monrovia and Triton Central do not have swim programs. So good luck to those swimmers coming up in the sectional. All right, let's take a look at standings now in basketball. As we, again, come down the home stretch here, we're starting to see that conference box fill up a little bit more. Still seeing Triton Central holding in at 3-0 in the conference. They got a big win the other night against Monrovia to stay perfect in conference. Tri-West, a really impressive 4-1. Speedway, Beech Grove, both at 2-2. Monrovia at 2-3. And as Jaykob said, it's been a rough year for the Braves. Unfortunately, 0-5 in conference. When we look at overall numbers, Triton Central, impressive 17-3 overall. Tri-West at 13-8. Speedway at 10-9. Beech Grove at 8-12. Monrovia at 11-8. And Indian Creek at 3-16. So, I called the Speedway Tri-West game, Mike, last night. I'll tell you, okay, so Tri-West won 71-50, but that score is a little misleading because it was a pretty tough contest up until about midway through the third. Tri-West went on a run and then kind of pulled away midway through the third and fourth. Talked to Coach Strine pregame before that, and, you know, Speedway's always got talent. They've always got athletes. Drew Metallic, we've said that name multiple times. I got to see him live in person. 6'7", can play outside, not a back to the basket kind of guy. Has great ball skills for his size, explosive, nice touch. I mean, a pure shot. You know, maybe his only thing is I thought a little bit kind of forced it at times, but then again, you know, they've got a couple other guys that could score, but really it was kind of him and Kendrick Kaiser that were kind of like their from what I observed, kind of their maybe what you'd call more pure scorers. Kendrick's a guard that could break his man down and get to the bucket. So you can't really fault him a whole lot there. But man, he reminded me, and I said this on the broadcast a little bit, of Gordon when he was at Brownsburg. Now, obviously not the same talent level, but just the style of game, the build, the frame. Gordon was pretty rail thin when he was at Brownsburg. I don't know if you saw, they just retired his number there, and they were showing some pictures and video from when he was there, and you forgot. I mean, he really transformed his body going from Brownsburg to Butler to the NBA. But when he was there, he was 6'8", but he wasn't wasn't real cut or anything. He was pretty thin. He was a tennis player, right? So had that kind of build to him. And Kendrick was it kind of impressed me in that way. And that Speedway team played really hard. So that was a fun game to be able to watch. Triton Central Monrovia, 45-34 last night. I kind of figured TC would win that one. We saw Monrovia come to our place, and I know Coach Barber doesn't have probably the depth that he's accustomed to having had in his career. They play hard, for the most part, from what I saw, but Triton probably a little bit more talent there. And then Greencastle took care of Indian Creek 72-50. Any thoughts that you have here, Mike, on basketball as we come down the home stretch?
No, this is a time when, I think a lot of teams are feeling it. It's been a long season. You have a lot of injuries. Some kids are just not getting back after long injuries. Some teams are trying to figure out what they're going to do without their star player because of that too, so this is team basketball. Not a lot of teams can win just having one kid being their guy. So who can last? That's kind of where we're at right now. So we have one more game and then sectionals?
We Tri West, we have 2 games left. We have a game against Brebeuf on the 24th, and then Ritter on the 27th. So, it's kind of interesting. I had a chance to talk to Coach Strine again in that pregame. And one of the things that I'd asked him about was his impressions on being in the HLC this year. And, he raved about it as a move from the Sagamore. He thought it was a much more competitive conference top to bottom. It challenged the Bruins a lot more this season. Being able to play against the likes of Eli Seago out at Triton Central, even the athleticism. You know what he said to me last night in that interview? And if you didn't get a chance to see it, our shows are up on YouTube. You can go back and watch them. He said he thought Beech Grove was probably the most athletic team in the HLC top to bottom. We know a little bit about some of the bad luck they've had this season. I think they've dealt with some injuries as well. But he just raved about, the schedule of the HLC and then being able to schedule some 4A teams. I think he said we are now 8-1 against 3A teams this season. So he was kind of saying, like, to your point, you can't really look at the overall record as much with some teams and be able to say, like, oh, they're not having that great of a season. When you kind of break it down and look at it a little bit, you can see a little bit more granular of, okay, when you look at Tri-West, for example, lost to Brownsburg, no shame there. Lost to Avon, no shame there. Lost to Pendleton Heights. Pendleton Heights is currently 15-4 and is a 4A team. Nothing to hang your head at there. The Martinsville game, 4A team, they kind of let that one get away there a little bit. But, yeah, the point being is that, you can look at a team like Triton Central and see, 3-0 in conference, 17-3 overall. That's fantastic. But that 13-8 mark for Tri-West being battle-tested and hopefully ready to go into a really competitive sectional, because I know that's what Coach has his mindset on is going in and performing in that sectional there. You got to think that they're pretty well positioned to be able to put together a decent run in that sectional. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do there. So,
yeah, absolutely. It looks like some of our guys, gosh, I just lost it. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see what actually happens with these guys. Triton Central, is my pick to do the best out of everybody in the conference. I know it's kind of an easy pick because, they got the best record and they're doing well, but that's why I'm picking them. Plain and simple. And we'll see what Tri-West does. They'll be okay. But I'm not sure. I think they should. It depends on how they play Guerin. I know they lost in overtime with them after blowing a big lead. If they can get past them, I think they're going to have a good shot at it. Just mentally, being able to get that monkey off their back to not worry about letting that score, that game go. And then we can see if they can make it to regionals. That'd be a huge, huge win for Coach Strine, getting that team to play in the regionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to put a voice to what Triton Central has to face in Sectional 43, 2A, they are 4-0 against their sectional right now, 17-3 overall, as we said. It looks like, they've beaten Cecina, which is probably going to be their closest challenge as far as where they are right now. They beat them 48-44 in the regular season. I was looking to see, it does not look like no, actually they did. They took care of Eastern Hancock pretty easily. They beat them 66-48 back on January the 31st. So Eastern Hancock's 11-8. Cecina is 15-6 right now. So you'd imagine, depending on the way the brackets kind of come out, if it fits that way, it would probably be TC and Cecina, and that ought to be a good matchup there. But yeah, we're, like you said, it's that time of the year where guys are starting to get worn down. It's a long season. It spans both semesters, and the holiday and starting to warm up, and you got to stay focused to be able to achieve your goals and get where you want to go. So I think the teams that can kind of overcome the adversity and fight through are the ones who you'll see playing a little bit deeper on into the season here. So it'll be fun to watch. All right. Anything that you want to add here before we put a bow on this one?
No, sir. Not for me, but I guess for everybody who's listening, if they have a kid, like Jaykob, who is doing great things on and off the field, and you want them to be shouted out or interviewed, let us know. We love being able to help these kids get more exposure. And I know for Jaykob specifically, if he wants to get into podcasting or if he wants to get into communications, little interviews like with us for 5-10 minutes can really give them a lot of really good experience. So email us, let us know what's going on.
Yep, absolutely. Email is up there on the screen. You can reach out to us and let us know. And we do appreciate, again, the stuff that John Moore sent over to us for Triton Central, and just to kind of hear and know, that people appreciate what we got going on here. We love doing it. It is, time consuming sometimes, but again, we do it because we love doing it, and always happy to be able to shout some of these kids out. So yeah, thanks Jaykob and Indian Creek. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again for another episode of Hoosier Legends Weekly next week.
Concrete jungles got impulsive beats. My heart sings, I'm with the city streets. I'm not the hero, I'm the